It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to be talking about Espresso Cookie with the new magic candy and the idea that we have behind this team. So the magic candy itself, if we go to the info of Espresso Cookie, we have it all the way at level 18 currently. So obviously we're working on getting it to level 30. And if we read the abilities here, you've probably seen at least the differences with the new skill update, being a relative to max HP capped at 300,000, but extra damage on final hit, single hit damage, 294% to cookies, plus 3.6 fixed damage relative, and single hit damage to others, 256. So better against cookies than non-cookies. Injury, max HP, minus 9.2%. So that means that similar to Dark Cacao, creating injury on the cookies themselves for 20 seconds. An injury cannot reduce max HP more than 25%. So that does have a limitation to it. If we get to the level 10 point, that's when you get stunned on the final hit of 1.25 seconds with 325% of extra damage to targets immune to stun. So anything that normally would get stunned, that cannot be stunned, gets extra damage instead. When we get to level 20, the damage is increased further, and at level 30 at the highest point. So you're just really increasing the overall damage capabilities once you get to that level. So going back to the team itself, we're running damage resistance on Wildberry, critical on Dark Cacao, damage resistance on Clotted, critical on Espresso, and attack searing on Frost Queen. So the whole idea is we want to use the interruption from Espresso to stop your skills from happening. We want to use Clotted Cream to stop the tanks from tanking. And we want to use Frost Queen to stop the skills from cooling down. So it's just a full shutdown team, as well as Wildberry with the stuns and Dark Cacao with removing shields. It's a pretty fun team. It's a dangerous team, though, because you're not running any healers. That's why we're running Monocle and Feather. So we're trying to keep the team as alive as possible since we have absolutely no healers. But it is a double tank team, probably very taken down by Sorbet and some other teams, too. Definitely has some counters. But we're going to go ahead and fight against some other teams. And being Espresso is the new abilities that Espresso has, he's pretty much a very hard counter to most summon teams. So you should see some good results if we fight any of those, which I do believe this team is a summon team. So as you can see, someone that is fresh in arena, high level ranks, just like I am. And our team is getting hit pretty hard just because there's so many bodies on the field. But we do handle pretty well. We're only left with Clotted Wildberry and Frost Queen. Yet again, because we don't have an actual healer, we are aligned completely on the Feather and the Monocle here to take care of the battle. We still do win it. It was a tight battle because of the amount of bodies that they were able to put on the field. And as you can see, Clotted and Espresso and Wildberry were actually doing the most damage on our side. They had double healer on their team, so that's what really kept them in the game pretty long. And you can even see their healing right here, 1.5 and 2.3, where the healing received on our side was almost about the same just because of the Monocle and the Feather. But we're going to fight different teams that are not just Summoner team. So we'll give this one a try. It's a T-Night team. Granted, they do have lower treasures, so we should have the advantage here. But it's always good to try different team compositions to see what we come across. So this one, T-Night team with the classic Sea Fairy, Frost Queen, and Eclair for high damage yield on their side. Should be pretty powerful, especially if they take out a lot of cookies. We do get that Feather proc on Espresso, and we got the Monocle to bring our team back to almost full level power. And now at this point, we're just pushing through the remainder of what team they have left, which now, because of the way our damage works from Clotted, T-Night really wasn't able to survive. We were able to just get it down to Dark Cacao, and Dark Cacao on an Insignia cannot really last against a team of 5 cookies. So as you can see, Dark Cacao was their highest damage dealer. Because of the Feather, Espresso was ours. So the damage was very well done on our side of the team, and our healing was a little bit higher just because of the specific treasures we were running. But let's keep taking it through. So this one's a speed team. So we got Wildberry. Likely we're going to have Dark Cacao and Caramel Arrow or Caramel Arrow and Eclair. It's going to be one of those two combinations. So this is a speed burst team. This is probably one of the best ones to take our team down as a counter, just because they should be able to eliminate 2 to 3 cookies pretty quickly. So it's going to be interesting to see the results of this one, but it's good to test it as well to see the capabilities. And yes, so it is Caramel Arrow and Eclair. Not necessarily surprised. Thankfully, the Interrupt from Espresso does really good against some of their skills. But yeah, they took out the backline pretty heavily. We've already used our Feather, so now we're relying specifically on Monocle and our damage resistance to carry the rest of the way. But because of the healing of Pomegranate and the shields on their end, we just can't handle that team. So you can see this team, even though it's doing well, speed burst teams, or just burst teams in general like that, they just can overpower us really quickly. So I would not take this team as something, as a battle to those type of teams specifically. Now if we go over here, this is going to be likely Eclair and Clotted, or Eclair and Caramel Arrow. If it's Caramel Arrow, we're going to be in a tight pinch. If it's Clotted, we actually stand a pretty decent chance here. Not a guaranteed win, but decent chance. Okay, so it is Eclair and Clotted. So what's going to happen here is Espresso should give that good interruption. Frost Queen with the freezing of the skills. We get another proc of Frost Queen because of no damage resistance on our topping set. We get the healing from the Monocle to keep us going forward. Clotted to push their tank back. And the shield removal of their Eclair from our Dark Cacao. Yet again, it's a tight fight. If our Monocle would have activated maybe like 3 seconds earlier, we would have had a better chance. But yet again, that's a meta team right now that's a pretty heavy team to fight. If we were to change to one healer instead of having all 5 attackers and DPSs, we'd probably have a better time against that team as well. But I wanted just to show you the capabilities of this team. It's really good against summon teams. Like if I take it against this summon team, we should be able to completely take them out without too many issues, even though they're higher ranked than us, just because of the interruptions and the pooling together from Espresso and the skill freezing from Frost Queen. We get the Feather, we get the Monocle. They're doing good damage to our team, don't get me wrong, but we are still handling pretty heavily. And it looks like this setup that they're going to take the win. And we can check why. We can see what's on their end that ended up helping them take the win. So, yeah, double healing. Double healing is really the hard point of this. Whether it be shields and healing or double healing, that's where this team can't break through completely. So, you're either going to need a healer that can take care of that in the back line, which means you'll have to give up either Frost Queen or probably Clotted Cookie, whichever one you feel is more beneficial or more powerful on your team. Or you're going to have to put in someone like Red Velvet or even Adventure Cookie to take out the backline cookie healers, so that way they have no chance to get the healing going on all sides of their end. But I wanted to show you this team just because it's a fun team, and it does provide a lot of power. Anything that's weaker ranked than you guys, like I would say like Master 3, Master 4, Master 5, anything like that, unless someone's just waiting with a great defense team, you can take this team and push pretty hard into most arena battles and come out pretty well on top. Granted, it does have 2 very high level cookies that are promoted pretty high, which is Clotted and Frost Queen, and even technically Dark Cacao. So if you guys don't have those or can't run those, I understand that might be a little difficult, but it's a team that I thought would be interesting to show you just because the overall persistence it has does pretty well. And honestly, if you really want to try a new cookie, you could take Financer in place of Frost Queen, and then even if you run it against a double healing meta team such as this one, which is actually using Espresso, so that's interesting. I can see why, though. They're trying to get the crit damage bonuses. But running here, we've got Financer keeping Clotted Cream protected. We've got the heals going towards Clotted Cream here. We've got more tank damage resistance, as we have technically 2 tanks in the front and a pseudo tank with the charge cookie from Dark Cacao. And yeah, overall this time we were just able to completely push through without any issues because we did have technically 1 healer. Even though Financer is a tank, it's still a healer too. So you can see here, pretty good damage overall, not from Financer. Financer is not really one that does much damage. It's more utilitarian, even at a 10-star ranking. Mostly just healing from Financer. That's the whole goal, and buffing the cookie that she is protecting, which in this case would be Clotted Cream. So that's another way to run the team as well. Either way, thank you so much for stopping by. If you guys have any specific feedback or opinion on this team, I'd love to hear it. Do you think Financer would just be a better run and taking your chances against it like that? Or do you want to run it more of a kind of burst DPS damage team with reliances on the feather and the monocle? Which do you think would be better? Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a wonderful day.